Hey, what's up? This is Gary Swaby, and you're now listening to episode 91 of the Co-op podcast. And I'm here with the editor in chief, Richard Bailey. What's up, Richard?
Yes, what's up, listeners and viewers? Looking forward to talking about some games today.
Cool, cool. And I'm here with Charles. What's up, Charles?
Hey, what's going on?
Chilling, chilling. So yeah, episode 91 of the Co-op podcast. It's TGS this week, so we got a lot to get through. Unfortunately, we tried to get some more people on the show too, but they didn't show up. Hopefully, they might jump in, as the show is going on. We'll see. But let's get into what we've been playing real quick. So, Charles, what have you been playing this week?
Destiny, and more Destiny. I really haven't had much time to play anything outside of that. Um, I'm level 24 right now, so I've been grinding a good bit to get the additional gear so I can increase my light, the light from the Traveler, I guess. But yeah, Destiny has been what I've been playing. Tony dropped the review for that, so it came out today. Be sure to go to thecoalition.com and check that out.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I've been playing Destiny a lot too. Been grinding. I'm level 21 now, and I'm just trying to get all the best equipment, all the legendary gear, so that I can level up further and possibly try out the raid because I heard the raid is really brutal. And when I hear that something's brutal, it kind of intrigues me to want to try it out and see just how brutal it is. So yeah, I've just been enjoying the strikes for now. Some of the strikes are brutal too, but because of my level currently, I'm not finding it that much of a problem anymore. But they're always fun to play, especially when you got friends on and stuff.
Absolutely, man. Like the social aspect is done very well for the most part. Like, I mean, it's easy to communicate with like your friends, but outside of your friends list, it's a little complicated. But you can also jump in with a bunch of people that are online that you just randomly see around. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I randomly added someone, I think yesterday, like, they invited me to their fire team, and then they actually invited me as a friend on PSN. So, I mean, it's always cool when that stuff happens in games like this. But yeah, it could be easier. They do make it kind of difficult to interact with, random people, but
Yeah,
when it does happen, it's good.
true that.
Yep. So, Richard, what have you been playing this week?
So yes, I also have played Destiny. Started playing on Saturday night and played for most of the weekend. Uh, I do agree that the game is good. I'm not going to say it's amazing or great because I have issues with the game, namely the storytelling aspects or lack of a story, uh, as well as a lot of the repetitiveness that you have in each individual mode. Um, as I said, and people have to understand, a lot of us look at these games as critics. I've been doing this for the last 5 years, so I already know that there's some people that will disagree with what I have to say. That's totally fine. Everyone has their own opinion of a game. If they love it, they hate it. It's all good. But I will say this: keep in mind, everybody has an opinion, and therefore should not feel the need to attack that person's opinion. Um, but I'll leave it at that. One other game that I have been playing, and I cannot talk a lot about it because I'm under a strict embargo, is Forza Horizon 2. Um, I would just like to say this. This game is a lot of fun. There's definitely a lot to do in this game. Um, the world is huge. I got a chance to play with the community manager the other day, some of the multiplayer things. Very cool game. Um, as everyone knows, it comes out on the Xbox One on September 30th. The Xbox 360 release date has been changed because, as you know, they want the Xbox One version to get all the shine front and center first. But I can say this. I definitely will have a lot to say about this game, and you should look out for my review, which will be out next week on the 25th. That's when the embargo lifts. Um, but as I could say, if you're a racing game fan, you're looking for a game that has a high replay value, and you have an Xbox One, this should be your game. Don't, not to put down Forza Motorsport 5, but this has a lot more to offer. And there's not really no crazy microtransactions like they had when Forza Motorsport 5 came out either. So definitely check it out, and definitely look for the review next week. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing so far this week.
Cool. And since you brought up Destiny and the criticism and everything, let's get right into our Destiny topic this week. The game has sold over 5 million copies, but the review scores don't really reflect the sales and the success of the game because it's been getting sixes, sevens, and scores that you probably wouldn't have expected the game to receive. So, I mean, everyone is entitled to their own opinion of the game. Some people don't like it, some people do like it. I myself, I like it and I enjoy the game, but I'm also conscious of, all its flaws as well, so I can look at it objectively. And I think that's the important thing to do here. And I personally don't agree with those scores, sixes and sevens. I think it deserves a solid 8, maybe 8.5. Maybe even a 9 a little bit, just because it is a really fun game to play. But I mean, I would score it an 8, a solid 8. But I want to ask you guys. We'll start with Charles. What do you think of the criticism that the game has been getting?
The criticism has been very heavy-handed in the very strangest ways. Like the general idea that I've gotten across the board, whether it's extremely positive or negative, because it really hadn't been floating anywhere in the neutral area there. A lot of people don't even understand what kind of game they're playing. Because I've seen people, because I even had to get out of calling it an MMO because it has MMO elements, but that means massively multiplayer online. This is like a 3 to 6 man strike team, and when you're in the persistent world, you'll see about 10 to maybe 15 people. So that's definitely not a massively online title in the way that it's engaged. It is like I think this is them creating a new genre for the most part. There's elements of this that we've seen in other games, but everything coming together, I think they're doing something new. And it's ridiculous that people are kind of fighting against it in that way, because like we're getting something actually new, something progressive, and people are so against it. Like I play a lot of MMOs, and I think this is a really good way to get people into that style of gameplay, where you have the longer boss battles, where you actually have to manage with your fire team and stay alive, and the mob management kind of thing with your classes, and the loot grinding and stuff. A lot of people that play Twitch first-person shooters aren't used to that, and Destiny actually does a really good job of gradually getting you into that style of gameplay. Like you don't, with the division between the PvE and the PvP. Some people probably don't even realize that's the type of game they're playing. They're just like, this is fun, and I'm getting loot drops every now and then. They don't. It doesn't feel like a grind. It's a lot of fun. Like it doesn't feel like work, 24/7. So, and the people that do like that, they can push harder and go through all these weekly strikes and monthly strikes. And that's another thing. The fact that this game evolves so much over time is a very big deal to me, and I think that's a very good thing. Like value is a very, very important rating to consider with games these days, because often you slide them that $60 around across the counter and you're not really getting your money's worth. Titanfall, but that's just one example, just one. You get titles like that across the board, across various consoles, and I see the investment that they're putting in Destiny. I understand what they're doing with this being a title that evolves over time, and there's a lot of room for it to grow. with the good things going on, or even the bad things, the complaints that you have. Because some people believe that the multiplayer is not balanced. I don't believe so. I think they just suck. And if we gotta, like, the powers that your characters have, they are by no means like completely game breaking at all. Like,
Yeah.
even as a hunter, the blade dancing ability, there's been a few times I've done that ability and caught a shotgun to the face. Like, you're not unstoppable when those things go down. If you remember that those things can happen, you can plan for them and whatever. And plus, when you use those abilities, they kind of put you in a, they make you a target anyway, so it's easy to get taken down, especially like a heavy weapon. But that's beside the point. Overall, I think Destiny is good. 8 is about where I would put it, because the story definitely is subpar as far as what they've given us so far. Like, I see what they're going for, but this is a big prologue, basically, what you've played. I think Tony mentioned that in his review. This is just the beginnings of things, and I understand that they're going to be rolling more story information out over time, and the expansions will expand upon that. But I wish they would have given us more of an in-depth look at the characters that they're presenting, because the Awoken, like the Queen or whatever, she's an interesting character, and the Stranger, who's not even a Guardian. Spoilers, my bad, but like, it's not a big spoiler. Like, trust me, like you understand that from the beginning. But they these are interesting characters, but nothing interesting happens to them. Like, you're giving us, you're teasing us, but you got to give us the whole. You got to give us the whole meal. But yeah, that sums it up for me.
I like to make a quick statement as well on this topic. Now, to go to what you asked the question about, so the game sold 5 million copies, but it's still getting bad reviews. Well, I agree with what Charles said. A lot of the reviewers, I think, they did not go into this of an understanding of what this game was supposed to be. Just to clarify, I don't agree with any of those reviews. I think that, as y'all have said with the 8s, the game is probably about an 8 because of the other stuff. But still, I don't agree with what any of those other reviewers said, because obviously you can't really give a review on something over that short period of time. Plus, the raids hadn't started when a lot of these reviews were written, so it was like, okay. Now, a lot of people will argue, well, if you're waiting for that to review a game, well, then that's a little ridiculous. But no, that is a major part of the game, because everybody has been talking about the end game, and then how after you level up, other aspects are coming into play. So a lot of those sites that reviewed this game should do a follow-up article and talk about this raid, talk about the experiences of the raid, whether or not that helped the overall experience. But I can also tell you this: a lot of the reason why these reviews came out like this, bad, typically in this industry, for those of us that know, when we review a game, typically sometimes you get a game early. Activision made the decision to release this game to the public, to the reviewers, basically Monday. Some people got it on Friday, but they couldn't start playing until the servers went live on Monday, which is a day before the game actually was supposed to come out. Normally, when a game gets dropped at right around that time, normally that's a sign that it may not necessarily be that great. That has happened with a lot of games. Look at a game like any of the EA games they released, Medal of Honor. This was a game that reviewers were getting the game either one day before or the day of release. And a lot of people just said, oh, this game is horrible, this game sucks. So maybe a little bit of that came into play as well, because, reviewers didn't really have enough time to really go in on the game, and therefore, based on their first initial impressions, they weren't that impressed. That's why they gave it the score that they gave it. But I obviously don't agree with those scores. I'm just saying this is how this stuff normally goes from the business standpoint. You get a game early, you got a lot of time to really evaluate the whole product. But if you get in the game at the last minute, well, yeah, a lot of them just rush through the process, which is not how you're supposed to do it, but that's what they did. But it is what it is. As I said earlier, I don't think it's a horrible game. I do think that this was another game that was up there as far as the hype level, because there were three games this year that was severely, severely hyped. Titanfall, Watch Dogs, and Destiny. I would say Destiny is the better of those three games as far as being hyped, because it almost lived to the full potential, but it's still developing. It still can reach that potential based upon how they treat it after release. But Titanfall and Watch Dogs, highly disappointing, in my personal opinion. Um, but and once again, they both sold well. Watch Dogs sold well, but does that mean it's a great game? No, because there's a lot of movies that they do extremely well at the box office, and they're horrible movies. Grown Ups 2, for example, a horrible film, made a ton of money at the box office. So it ain't really just about the sales. But as I said, that's my opinion. I wanted to make that clear. This is my opinion. So.
Yeah, I mean, there was also a story that came out that Bungie actually missed out on a $2.5 million bonus that Activision would have gave them if they received good review scores. And I find that strange that they get a bonus for review scores. You know, for me personally, I mean, I think it would be better to give them a bonus for the amount of sales you get. You know, I mean, you sold 5 million copies. I think you deserve a bonus just for that. You know, but
Yeah,
they missed out on a bonus for review scores, which is kind of odd to me.
this is the underlying. There's a lot of stuff this in the industry that's they never denied that either. When that claim came out, Activision never denied. So they're more than likely, you already know there was a contract. The full details of that you will never know because they didn't make that clear.
Hey, one thing we can say is like if they if they spent money on good reviews, they need to go ahead and get the refund back. They ain't get none of those, Jack.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, IGN gave it a fairly decent review, but
What was their final score? Because I appreciate that IGN took their time to actually do the review.
It was a 7.5, wasn't it?
no, it's things to 7.8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I wonder what they considered good as far as that contract goes. Like, is that 8 and above or 7 and above? You know?
I think what they also looked at was the Metacritic overall average based on the reviews.
Yeah, that destroyed it.
Yeah, that definitely, because I know Metacritic now, there's an option that you can buy a game right on Metacritic, and they have a partnership. They have some type of deal with Amazon. You can buy a game right after looking at the review on Metacritic. But
Not so much a fan of that.
oh, I'm not a fan of that, and I'm not a fan of them either. But that's another topic, you know. But yeah, you know, I don't know what is all true about that contract that they had. It is unfortunate that all those reviews came out though, and it was like, the numbers that they were, because I don't think that the game should have been scored that low. But I don't know, man. It's craziness.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, make sure you go and check out the review on the site now by Tony Polanco. It's on the coalition.com, so go check that out and leave your comments. Okay, so on to the next topic. This one is very confusing to me personally. You know, I hope you guys can give some insight on this. Minecraft has officially been sold to Microsoft. It was for how much? 2 billion was it? Something? 2.5 billion, I think.
Yep.
Yep. And the lead guy behind Minecraft, Notch, he left the company as well. He left a note on his website saying that, once the deal went through, he would leave the company because he just wants to make games in his bedroom, and he doesn't want all the pressures of the industry and all that stuff. So he's left the company now. He basically got his $2.5 billion and bounced, basically, pretty much. He got his cut of that money and then just dipped straight out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Rich, what do you think of this?
Well, to be quite honest, when I heard about this acquisition, I was very puzzled, confused, and angry because I was thinking Microsoft the money that Microsoft has, they will spend that much on Minecraft. Now, I have to say now, I am not someone who was into Minecraft. I'm obviously not the target audience for the game, so clearly I have somewhat of a biased opinion towards them spending that much for this particular game. Um, I do know still though, Microsoft has a ton of money, so they can still go after other companies, but um, very confused as to why this move was made because I was thinking that, at least from my standpoint, Microsoft should be taking money that they have and focusing on creating new studios and games as opposed to basically just buying out what's popular. Now, I can understand if you want to buy out something that is successful, but at least attempt to create your own before you jump into that particular realm. Because to me, it's like they already have bad backlash from the Tomb Raider thing. And I don't even care about that. I know people are still angry about that to a degree, but it's a timed exclusive. They never said that was going to be exclusively on Xbox One. I don't think Square Enix would be that stupid. But, still, overall, I think that with this particular deal, I mean, I'm not somebody who was going to buy Minecraft, but there are millions of others who will. So I guess it is good in those regards. But again, you have to ask the question: if Notch is not going to be involved in any of the others who helped to create this game, or any of the main people that helped to create this game, what are you hoping to gain from this? Is there going to be a sequel? Or are they just going to have this and continue to add stuff to it over time? And how will that quality be now that these guys are not there to inspire the other people that are working on the product?
I have a theory on that. I believe that they've already been working on a Minecraft 2, and that it's pretty much possibly almost finished, ready to be announced soon, next year maybe.
Hmm.
And I believe that, I think that Microsoft bought them to make sure that this one stays on, their own platform, or I mean, not even their own platform, but Xbox One, PC, iOS, Android, every ecosystem out there except for the PlayStation 4. I mean,
Uh,
that's my theory.
the thing is, like, that is a lot to spend. Minecraft is their only proven project, right? Um, Not only that, but the mind behind that has now left the company.
Exactly.
That is a lot of money to invest in something like that we haven't got. It's not like something's been teased and the reaction for it has been absolutely ridiculous. For one, we're giving them the benefit of the doubt and hoping that they spent this money knowing that there's something dope already there. But we don't even know that yet.
Yeah.
This could be completely a blind play by them, a blind gamble, which, they have the money to do it, but I think that this decision, depending on how things go, this could help them significantly or cripple them
Yeah.
going forward. Because, I mean, they're not, you know, uh, leading this race. This is a play that Sony should have made.
Yeah.
As the
Yeah, I
lead.
agree. I
Yeah.
definitely agree. And what's weird to me is the timing as well, because the game just released on PS4, and they made a whole big deal about it coming to the PS4.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, like this is a gamble that the leader of this war can afford to take, because if it gets set back, they're still leading. But
Yeah.
Microsoft is behind, and they're putting so much into this. Like, whatever they've been shown, man, it better be it better make the Connect relevant again. It better bring Conquer back with these rare games like, that they're not getting made. Like, it better.
hello.
And I don't doubt that they can potentially do it, but will they? And the guy that spearheaded this is gone, and I'm sure that the people that are still there aren't too excited about that. But that's the nature of the business. We'll see what happens, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. And I won't continue to beat the drum, as Mr. Austin says, who has just joined in.
Is Austin there right now? Can he hear us? Because I think he's having some technical difficulties. But yeah, he is in the room, so hopefully he'll chime in at some point. But yeah, I mean, Microsoft, they definitely have to have some agenda. I mean, to spend that much money on Mojang, you know, I know I'm mispronouncing that, but
Mojang.
um, to yeah, Mojang, to spend that much money on them, I mean, they have to have some agenda and some plan because how much money does this game generate at this point? Because it's been out for a while and it only just really came to the PS4 and the Xbox One, but it's been on a lot of other platforms already. So I mean, is it still making tons of money like that?
I don't know. I know it's a big. Minecraft can be a really really big marketing tool with the people because I know that somebody commissioned the rebuild of a city or a monument or something in the game, so that kind of stuff probably brings in a good bit of money. I'm not sure honestly. I don't know what their uh like revenue platform is. I don't know exactly how Minecraft makes its money. I don't know if they have a lot of microtransactions or anything or just gear.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Definitely. Hopefully our listeners out there can offer us some insight. Leave your comments and everything. Let us know what you think of the deal. So, moving
Yeah, I
on.
can't get him off, huh?
There he is.
Whoa, is that Austin? Austin, can you hear me?
That's Austin.
Like, literally, there are no icons.
All right. Do you have any thoughts on the Minecraft deal? Oh, he's muted now. Never
Yeah,
mind.
I muted him because I don't think he realized that his mic suddenly started to work.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah. So moving on to the next topic. Super Smash Bros. 3DS. It released in Japan this past weekend, and it's already sold 1 million copies. So, I mean, that's a good figure right there. And I don't know if there's been any like feedback from the game, from Japanese people or anything yet, but I'm sure that will raise the excitement level for the game when it comes over here. You got any thoughts on that, Charles?
Thoughts on Smash Brothers selling a million copies?
Yeah.
Oh, heck no. Like
Are
that's
you even
what
excited for the game? Are you thinking about picking it up at all?
my feeling on Smash Brothers is not something that I get overly excited for, but it's always a constant. It's something that I will definitely play. Like kind of like how sports games are. Like you're not exceptionally excited when they come out. They're just a constant. You know that when this game comes out, you're gonna spend the money on it. And that's how I feel about Smash Brothers. I can't play it now. I'm gonna be buying one of the new 3DS whenever they come out. I don't think I'm gonna get Smash Brothers on it. I think I will get it when I get my Wii U because that's a party game. Like for me and some friends. Like me and my fraternity brothers always play the Smash Brothers games, and it gets super heated. It gets really intense. So I'm excited for it. But 1 million copies, no, that's business as usual. Like that's just normal.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Rich, have you got any thoughts? I mean, the three of us probably aren't the best people to talk about this because I've been known as the Nintendo hater. Michael A calls me that, so and I know you guys. You sounds like you're not really into Super Smash Brothers like that.
No.
So
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm into it, and the roster is really good.
mhm.
Um, I'm just not as heavily invested, but it's a good game, and I don't doubt that. And the way that Nintendo has gone about marketing it has been incredible. With like, announcing the characters with their own little videos. Like they've actually spent the money on animation for them. Not all of them were in-engine videos to start. Um, I think it's been fantastic how they've been presenting it, and I had that's why I had no doubt that it was gonna sell. Like, you can make the jokes that they needed a game, so of course it sold, and they haven't had anything to play as far as like the Nintendo stuff goes. But this Nintendo can print money. We talk about that all the time. They basically print money with their first person titles, their first party titles. Sorry, and Smash Brothers is one of those. So no one should be surprised what if unless the sales were absolutely just horrible. Which how would that even happen with Nintendo? Like their first party stuff goes off the shelf quickly.
No.
They'll probably have an issue keeping it on the shelves at this point. So
Yeah, I mean, this isn't surprising news. And not just Smash Brothers, but a lot of the games that have been out on the 3DS. I mean, let's be realistic. The 3DS is Nintendo's. That is their top seller right now. The Wii U, perhaps when these games come out that we saw at E3, that will help the console out tremendously. But for now, the 3DS is the front runner as far as those two products are concerned. This game is a highly anticipated game. It's been for quite a while. So I expect it to be a lot of pre-orders. I expect it to be a lot of midnight openings. I saw that Nintendo has now started to sell new 3DSs themed for this game as well. Because I just got a message about that from GameStop the other day. So not too surprising that it would be already selling like that in Japan. And I look forward to see how it sells when it's officially out here in a couple of weeks.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see. And then I'm a 3DS owner. I'm not a total Nintendo hater. I will be giving the game a chance. I might buy it and everything on 3DS. But yeah, we'll see. I'm sure it will sell well because it's a big name for Nintendo, and a lot of people they don't have games to play on their Wii U right now. So of course, once it hits the Wii U, it's gonna fly off shelves. So yeah, hopefully we'll get Michael A's standpoint on this. Maybe next week if he doesn't show up today. But moving on, TGS has been going on this week,
Uh-oh.
and
Oh.
there's been a few big news topics stirring around. Um, One of the biggest ones is all the Final Fantasy stuff. Now, firstly, Type Zero will be released next year, 2015. I forget the exact date, but it will be packaged with a Final Fantasy 15 demo, which is amazing, because we've been waiting for this game for so long, and finally we get something we can play with the game. And also the fact that the demo is coming out makes me think that the release date is coming. Like we might even get it fall 2015 if we're lucky, but more than likely it'll be early 2016, I think, at this point.
Uh-oh.
So
Well,
Charles, I know you. Oh, go ahead, Rich.
oh no, I'm gonna let Charles go first. I got something to say after that.
Okay, Charles, I know you play Final Fantasy, so what are your thoughts on that?
um, I am very excited for 15 versus 13, 12, whatever it is that we're getting. I think it's officially 15 now, but I've been waiting for this game since it was called Versus 13 because it looked really, really good. And the trailer now, that is one of the sexiest looking trailers I have seen for next gen games so far. Other than, I think the only thing that can match it for me would be Metal Gear Solid's trailer, which I think we'll talk about later. But the graphics, the visuals look absolutely incredible. The gameplay looks very intense. I'm curious. Like, there's a lot of interaction between the four characters. I guess they're the main guys. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see to what extent that goes. Um, but that looks very intriguing. I the whole thing where they're treating it, they call it like a fantasy based on reality and everything, and how they have like the modern cars. I think this is the next logical step for the Final Fantasy series to have like that modern or that realistic setup, but have the fantastic creatures that we're normally used to from a Final Fantasy game. I think they don't clash as bad as you probably would have thought on paper when you read up on this. It looks really good. Now, Final Fantasy, I don't just go to Final Fantasy for the gameplay. I go for the story. And that would be my biggest question mark as far as this game goes, because, and I'm sure that they're doing this on purpose. They're not really letting on to what exactly we're going to be experiencing. I know we play as some kind of prince. He looks like a pretty important guy, and you got to wonder why he's out there fighting on the front lines like that. But story-wise, even with the older titles, you know, with 13, with 12, we'd have some inkling of what the story is about by this point, and we don't have that yet. So I'm really curious to what the focus is going to be, and I hope that whatever when it was considered versus 13, I don't think the story was a focal point. I don't know that, can't prove that, but with it being attached to that and it's supposed to play off of that world, I don't think it was a focal point. But I hope that they change that, because now it's a standalone Final Fantasy, like the unnumbered title.
It's still in that world and setting, because what I think it is basically, spoiler alert for Lightning Returns here, but at the end of Lightning Returns, basically that world is destroyed and then a new one is created, and I believe 15 is going to take place in, you know, the new version
created
of the world. Yeah.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm gonna have to pretty much set myself up for disappointment as far as the story goes, because I'm not a fan of 13 and all of its 13 plus and Lightning Returns and all that. I'm not a fan of the story so much, so we'll have to see.
It does give them something new to play with. You know, it's a completely different world. You know, they don't have to associate with all the things that went on in 13. You know, they do have
Like
that creativity
and
to
all
be
that.
completely different.
Yeah, like hopefully they keep the whole Fal'Cie and the Lassie and the all of that. Just keep it away from me, please, because it was so bad. I know you love it, man, but I hate it so much. Lightning is a character. I feel like she was wasted on that series because she was great, but the rest of it was pretty subpar, man.
Yeah, I love it personally, but the actual director for Final Fantasy 15, Tetsuya Nomura, he is now working on Kingdom Hearts, you know, and somebody else has taken over. Hijame Tabata has taken over the game. This has happened before in a Final Fantasy game. It happened with Final Fantasy 12, where the director left halfway through and then somebody else took over. And, you know, 12, it didn't come out that great. You know, it was kind of inconsistent and incoherent at some points with the storyline and everything. So, do you think that this change could affect Final Fantasy 15?
I'll say no. I think he's just leaving at the point where he's not necessarily needed at this time, because 15 should be so far in their development cycle that he should feel comfortable leaving the project. I don't think that's a testament to where the game is, where it's going to be, or anything like that. It's just that they have these two huge games that need work, and I think he's done with, you know, as much as 15 needs, and he can move on to the next thing. I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, I hope you're right though, because I really don't want it to affect the game. But Rich, you had some things to say about Final Fantasy 15 and possibly Type 0. What were your thoughts?
Yeah. As I must say, I will admit openly that I am not a Final Fantasy person, as I have not gotten a chance to get into the game or the series. But I do believe that the announcement, it was a good announcement. I do believe that they can make 2015. That Type 0 is coming out in March, by the way, and the demo, you know, will be out with that. So it is possible for them to make that come out the same year. I'm not sure how far along the project is. I'm not sure how far along Kingdom Hearts is either. But you know, the trailer looked great, very intriguing. So I am intrigued, but of course, I'm not sure where I should start if I was to even get into the series because it is several games. So
Yeah, I mean each iteration is its own game. So I mean, you could start at this one if you wanted to. Skip 13 because most people don't like it. But
uh,
yeah, I'd say, and the thing is with 15, from the way it's looking in the trailer, it looks like it's the Final Fantasy game for people to start with because the battle system, it's not turn-based, it's real time, and the animation looks incredible. I saw them doing things that we've never seen in a Final Fantasy game before. Like they react to the environment and what's going on around them, and that was impressive to me. So I definitely feel like, a lot of people who haven't got into the Final Fantasy series should start with this one.
well, yeah, well, most definitely will check it out. See, as they, definitely will check out the demo because that Zero game is going to be out on Vita, right?
No, that's on PS4. And see, the thing is with that, originally Type Zero was out on PSP, and people have been asking for that game to come to the Vita, But
Well,
when it was announced for PS4, everyone was scratching their heads like, why is it coming out on PS4 and not Vita? And
that's
now it makes sense. They wanted it to promote Final Fantasy 15 and have the demo and everything.
that's right. That's right. Yes. Not to mention that the Vita at this point has become a companion device for PlayStation 4. Um, there are some games that are out. There's a lot of games out, mostly JRPGs with a specific audience in mind. Um, but yeah, we need to get some more games on that device in general, I would say.
Yeah,
Um,
we do. Definitely.
but no, I'll definitely will check it out. I mean, I like the trailer, so I am intrigued. Uh, but I may have to do a little bit of research before I jump into that game just to make sure I understand the characters, the story, all this other stuff.
Yep. And continuing with Final Fantasy, I had to bring this up because this makes me very happy.
Oh,
Um, the Final Fantasy 13 series, the complete trilogy, is coming to PC, starting with the first game 13, and that's coming out on October 9th. So me personally, I feel like because over the past couple years, Square Enix has been releasing a lot of Final Fantasy games on PC. Like they released 7, they released 8, they released 3. I'm pretty sure they're gonna release, a few more of the old ones like 9, um, and all 5, all the old ones. But to me, them bringing 13 to the PC, it kind of makes me think that they're getting ready to make an announcement about 15 releasing on PC either the same time as the consoles or shortly after. It kind of feels like they're, working towards that. What do you guys think about that? And would it be a big deal to see, a new Final Fantasy game come to the PC?
I'll be happy for the people that are getting to experience 15 on the PC. But my thoughts on 13. I'm sorry that they're gonna have to go through that.
I'm excited, man. I'm buying the whole thing again. I'm buying all 3 games again on PC.
I don't even know why you doing that. Why you doing that, man? Like why you gotta put yourself through that? Like this like it's
Yeah,
like borderline masochistic, man. Don't do
they're
that.
good games, man. Like if you give them a chance, they're good games.
No, I've given them all a chance. I played them all. I beat 13. Like I beat 13, dude. And I bought what was the second one called?
13 too.
There we go. 13-2. Which I should have known with my experience that I had with 10-2. Any Final Fantasy number times 2, like I should not have invested in it. Like that was nowhere near as bad as 10-2 was, but just story wise and everything. I couldn't get into it, man. I got a little far into 13.2. Um, Gameplay wise, it was significantly better than 13.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
Definitely.
agree. Yeah, I didn't
God.
like see. I feel like 13 had the strongest story, but the gameplay was lacking, and 13.2 had the better gameplay, but the story was seriously lacking.
Where did Lightning Returns come into that?
Well, I really enjoyed Lightning Returns. A lot of people didn't, but I liked it. I think it was a good, it was a good way to kind of end it off.
Gotcha.
And
I did the demo for that, and that's as far as I got into it. Because I was like, you fooled me twice, guys. You're not going to get me a third time. So, but I can't understand why you're going to put yourself through that. Again.
I can't help it. I'm a Final Fantasy fan, man.
I am too. That's
They
why I'm
drop.
not putting myself through that.
But yo, man, if they announce that they're releasing Final Fantasy X, the HD remaster on PC, I'm buying it again.
You know what? I'm down for that, but just give me 10. Like, don't make me buy 10 and 10.2. I don't want to see 10.2 again. Just let me get like. Did you buy the original remaster?
Yep.
Are they on separate discs?
No, on the PS3, it's on the same disc, but on the Vita, you only get 10, and you have to download 10 too.
Man, that's how it should be, right there. Like I'd let that little whatever megabyte just float off in space because I ain't downloading that crap. God. 10 is by far one of my favorite Final Fantasies ever. Like it's one of the ones that give 7 a run for their money. And hate me or whatever, judge me, throw your hateful comments. I haven't finished 6 yet. I'm playing it, but I haven't finished it. Like I'm the guy that's just now getting to the end of Chrono Trigger, so just bear with me, people.
Man,
I'm getting there.
my backlog is incredible, man. Like, man, I want to beat all those old Final Fantasy games. I beat 7, I beat 10, all the new ones, but the old ones, I'm really behind on those, and I really want to play Chrono Trigger as well. So
God, man.
hopefully someday
Chrono Trigger stands the test of time, dude. I jumped into that like it was a brand new game. I didn't miss a beat. It was a whole lot of fun.
yeah, they need to
Um,
bring that to PC if it isn't already on there. But yeah, that's all the Final Fantasy news from TGS. Let's move on to Metal Gear Solid. I didn't actually get to watch the trailers yet. I know there was some awesome trailers that came out. Tony was talking about them earlier, and he had a post on the site earlier, so go check those out if you haven't seen them yet. But remember the Metal Gear Solid collection that was being teased?
yes.
Well, it's actually a clothing line.
Yeah, I saw that.
That disappointed a lot of people. It disappointed me as well. But Charles, have you got the chance to see the new Metal Gear Solid trailers and stuff?
I saw one of them. I don't know how many they released, but I saw the one with the sniper.
Oh, yeah, Sniper Chick.
The scantily clad young lady that apparently Kojima said there would be a reason why she's dressed that way. Whatever. I watched the trailer with her, and of course, it's not translated yet, so I have no idea what they were talking about. But her character looks awesome. Like the whole invisibility or whatever it is that she does. I don't even know like if she has complete control over that. It seems kind of strange, but her character looks cool. And I mean, that's something that we're always going to get with Metal Gear Solid. We're always going to get very interesting characters and a very intriguing story. So I'm glad to see these types of things roll out. Metal Gear Solid looks like one of that's the next really big title that I'm looking forward to. So I'm excited for it. The clothing line, I'll probably buy some of it. No lie. Like I hate that it's not a collection of all the titles, but I'm gonna end up buying some Diamond Dogs or Foxhound stuff. Like whatever they put out, I'm gonna get it. And the white console looked nice too.
Oh
If
yeah,
you saw that.
man. Yeah, if I was rich, man, I would still get that.
Wait, how much is it?
Have they actually announced the price? I don't know.
Oh no, you worried me a little bit. I'm like, Rich, what they charging $1,000 for it or something?
Nah, I just mean like, because where I'm at in life right now, I can't really justify buying another console, like just for,
Uh,
you know, just for the fact that it's Metal Gear Solid. So
yeah, but you can buy another copy of Final Fantasy 13, huh?
Oh,
Square Enix, I will always make the
wow.
exception.
This man just dropping those pennies in the bucket.
Yo, I was upset because when they released that special edition Final Fantasy 13 PS3, I was upset I couldn't get that, man. So if Square Enix announced some special PS4 for Final Fantasy 15, I'm all the way there. I don't care how much it costs.
All right, man. All right. I hope these pennies you throwing at them. I hope it funds a remake of Final Fantasy 7. That's all I can say about it.
Well, that's a completely another discussion that we'll have to have another time because I don't even want that. But yeah, we'll talk about that another time. So moving on. Well, that's really all the topics that I have from TGS because it's still ongoing. So but I know there's been a lot of stuff. There's been the Bloodborne videos and everything. So I'm waiting to ask you guys personally what you're excited about from the show. So, Rich,
All right,
what
Rich.
are you excited for?
Well, I was just informed that yesterday I know that they said that D4 will be out on the Xbox One. I was just informed that it's out right now, so I'm going to be downloading that tonight. That for sure. Bloodborne, I'm very interested in, only because it looks intriguing. Metal Gear Solid, of course, yes, I have to get it because I played all the others, so I have to get 5.
Oh yeah, I actually forgot to ask you your thoughts on, I don't know if you saw any of the coverage for Metal Gear Solid, but
Oh
yeah.
yes, I have. And I would like to say it looks great. Of course, I know that Metal Gear Solid demo that came out earlier this year. I didn't even play that or give it a chance because I said no. We want the full experience. I wasn't about to get roped into, picking that up. Now maybe when it gets dirt cheap, I will consider it. But I damn sure wasn't about to pay $40 for it. No, But what I saw of 5 looks excellent. And I think that it'll be well worth the wait whenever it comes out. Now, Kojima said it will be out in 2015. They didn't give a date yet. That's totally fine with me. All I need to know is it's coming out next year. So yeah, looks great. You need to watch the trailers, especially if you're a fan, Gary.
Yeah, man, I've been meaning to, man. It's just today has been hectic. I haven't got around to it yet, but I'm definitely gonna watch those after the show. Charles, is there anything specific that you're excited for, or is there something that you've already been excited by that's been released from TGS already?
Bloodborne is my big title. From there, I've been curious to see more information on that. That's pretty much going to be a buy for me. Demon Souls is incredible, and I loved it, and I'm glad to see a spiritual successor to that. Because I don't count Dark Souls personally, but that's just me. So Bloodborne looks cool. Metal Gear Solid, of course. These are things that I already knew about that I pretty much they've pretty much already got my money. You know what I'm really waiting to hear from TGS. You know where I'm going with this, right?
Oh, I know. Yeah, go ahead.
No.
I'm waiting for The Last Guardian.
Well, you will be waiting for years to get that announcement.
Because I said it a couple months ago. I said it when E3 dropped. If I don't hear any The Last Guardian news from TGS, then I'm just gonna give up all hope on that.
Oh man.
I don't understand. I don't understand how they couldn't talk about it right now. They have to address it in some way.
Well, I thought they already had their conference though, so therefore there's no need to address it at this point.
Well, that was a pre-TGS conference, wasn't it? The thing from 2 nights ago.
I'm not sure. I was confused because it looked like the same show that we saw in September 1st.
Yeah.
Exact same show.
Wait, so they actually have another show coming up?
I think I don't know. I don't know. I'm not as familiar with the structure of TGS versus the other events, but my impression was that this is a pre-TGS, event, and that there should have been like another conference. Just like I think with E3, didn't one of the companies do like a pre-E3 video for small conference, something like that?
Yeah,
I think
they've done
Sony and
it
Microsoft
before.
both did it.
Yeah, they've done it before. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Um,
this was a pre-TGS thing, so we'll see.
well, if they are having another conference after they've already had two pre-shows or whatever, then I do believe that they're holding on to a megaton. So it could very well be the Last Guardian. So I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
if they do have another conference. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it.
But see, this is why I asked the question earlier, because what are the two games that Sony said that they are going to announce at TGS? I haven't heard any announcements yet. I've heard some announcements, but I don't know if any one of those announcements are any one of the games they said they were going to announce.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them was in that conference that I watched at like 2 in the morning.
Okay.
Because the only things that were that I didn't know about were like Vita titles, but they didn't seem like they were games that weren't announced beforehand. They were just giving more information on them and showing gameplay. As far as like big titles go, there wasn't anything announced that I didn't already know existed, and to this day, there's still nothing announced that I didn't know existed. Like the closest thing you can even say is the Yakuza game, but we already saw the same trailer that they showed.
Yeah.
The prequel. So I don't think we've gotten that big reveal. Which, just realistically, the Last Guardian doesn't need to be one of those two titles. You've announced this. Like, it's been announced for years. This is just something you got to address.
Wait. Yeah. Repeat that.
I was saying that Last Guardian isn't something that should be announced. It's just something that should be addressed. Like, it shouldn't be a big two. Hey, this is new. This isn't new to us. We just need information on it. Like, they need to announce two really big games and be like, oh, yeah, by the way, The Last Guardian, release date, blah, 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 blah. And then we'll be happy and not have to riot and burn cars in the streets.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's burn some cars in the streets.
Let's riot if it doesn't happen.
Because then that's the only thing that you can be assured will happen. That there will be riots when that doesn't come out.
Yeah, so I mean, Charles, I want to take this opportunity to pick your brain a little bit, because Bloodborne, it looks amazing, and I want to be excited for it, but I never actually played Demon Souls or Dark Souls 1. I own Dark Souls 2, but I haven't spent a lot of time with it. So, I want to ask you, what is the big deal about both Demon Souls and Bloodborne? And also, after you finish answering that, I wanted to know what are the biggest differences between Demon Souls and the Dark Souls series.
Okay. Demon Souls, the big draw for it is definitely not story. There is a story for the most part, but it's really just placeholder. The big draw is the gameplay. And to give you an idea, it's an action title for sure. And it's very difficult. Like if you hear anybody talk about Dark Souls or Demon Souls, they talk about the difficulty of the games, and then when I played Demon Souls, because I actually imported it when it was out because I wasn't 100% sure it was going to be brought to the US, because it was kind of under the radar for the most part, but From Software and Sony made a deal and they got it over and everything. But it's a very gritty, slower paced combat system where you have to manage your stamina bar, because your stamina goes into anything: moving around, running, dodging, attacking, and blocking. Any of those things take away from your stamina, so you have to correctly gauge how you're going to approach your battle. Gear drops are very awesome. If you're into the loot thing, they have a lot of that in there. It was really rare stuff that you have to work really hard to find. And it also has a horror element to it that kind of enhances everything. Because, like, even if it was just a medieval type theme, it would be fine. But to have the super dark, demonic thing where like there's undead dragons and zombies going around. That enhances the experience. It kind of makes it even more interesting and a little scary at times. Like I'm a wimp when it comes to horror titles, but the game was so fun I couldn't help but keep playing. Now, Demon Souls versus Dark Souls, I felt like Demon Souls, the difficulty was warranted, and every time you died, and they even used this in the promotional campaign when they made it a bigger release when it came over. Every time you died, you felt like it was something that you did and something that you could learn from. It was like the most rewarding deaths I've ever experienced in a game. Which is really, really weird thing, but that was the case. Like if I died, it was I made a mistake, and I'm like, all right, I gotta be able to dodge better. I gotta manage my stamina bar better. I know that, the enemy's attack pattern now, and every death was warranted. In Dark Souls, though, the difficulty is a bit more manufactured, in the sense that you'll go to an area and there's monsters that you can't even hit because you're not cursed. And there's not really a lot of context given to that. There's no reason given for it or anything that hints at that fact. You just get there and you see this monster and you swing at it and your sword goes through it and it kills you in one hit. And you're like, okay, what the hell is up with this? And it's not like you'll find like a text or something that says, hey, this area is blah, blah, blah. You need to be cursed. You're probably going to have to go online and read a guide or something. And that's an issue with a lot of Dark Souls. You're going to have to read up on a lot of the stuff online, which I think that takes you out of the experience. Matter of fact, going back to Destiny, that was one of the issues with its story. In some mind-boggling design decision, a lot of the story you get out of Destiny, you have to read via these grimoire cards that you can only read online.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah, like one thing that Final Fantasy 13 did get right is the codex stuff that you can read in the game. Mm-hmm. Like you hit a menu and you can read about it, but in Destiny you have to leave the game you're playing to go online to read about the game that you want to play right now. And Dark Souls, they threw a lot of things in there to make things difficult just for the sake of being difficult. In Demon Souls, it was a challenge, and you felt like when you did complete something, like you could breathe again, and it was a challenge, and you felt accomplished. Like I was talking trash to my friends because when I finally defeated this freaking monster in the first area that was blocking the area you're not even supposed to go to, and I found a way to beat him, and it was awesome. Like if you pay attention to patterns and do what you need to do, then you can defeat these guys. It's not some special item you have to even advance past it. Any gear that you got in the game made it just a little bit easier. Like you could take a little bit more damage, or you're fire resistant, so you can go through particular areas and not have to worry about taking so much damage. But it wasn't anything like game breaking, really. So that's the difference for me. And Bloodborne, I think, is going to be inspired a lot more by the difficulty of Demon Souls. I still don't think it's going to have very much of an interesting story, but the gameplay is the key, and that's what I'm most excited for. You have Dark Souls, you can just get rid of that.
Yeah,
trade that in.
You pretty much sold me, and I actually want to try Demon Souls now. I might even buy it, and go back and play it. But yeah, you sold me because I like grindy, RPG type games. And I mean, one of the biggest reasons I enjoy playing Final Fantasy is the battle system. I'm all about grinding and leveling up and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I didn't even speak on the online play for that title, because it was kind of one of the first of its kind to have it where the multiplayer was kind of part of the narrative. Like you couldn't just pick up and hit your friends up and be like, hey, I'm about to jump in your game or something like that. You had to find this particular gem that allowed you to go into other worlds, like take your soul into other worlds. And you could go and help someone, or you can go and screw their game up. Like at one point, I defeated a boss. It took me like 10 tries to defeat this boss, and I finally did it. and the second I finished it, another character invaded my world. And I made him work for it, but he killed me and he took all the stuff that I had just earned.
Oh wow.
Oh,
And the
That's
thing is,
crazy.
like, when you die, your stuff is left wherever you died at. So I basically had to go back through there to fight that boss again to even get the souls that I had earned and all that stuff.
That's crazy.
And, like, it sucked, but I was like, man, that was kind of cool, like, to be able to do that. And then the flip side of that is I tried to invade someone's game. And yeah, they were prepared for me. I somehow, because I think it's completely random. They match you level wise, but other than that, it's random wherever you drop in. And they dropped me into a matchup where the guy already had two people helping him, and they were prepared. Like, as soon as I walked into the room, they just tore me apart. It was ridiculous. But
Yeah,
it's cool,
that's the
man.
type of interaction we need in these games, and that's why I like Destiny to a degree, because it kind of sounds like that model, that same model. And
Yeah.
so I'm excited for Bloodborne. If it introduces more of those gameplay elements, then I'm definitely gonna be excited for it. So you've sold me, and I will give it a try now.
Word. I can't wait to hear your opinion on it.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's all we have to discuss this week. I mean, if there's anything else you guys want to touch on, then now's the time. Richard, you got anything to say?
oh no. Pretty much think you've covered everything. Yeah, shout outs to everybody who visits the show. Better say, listens to the show, visits our site. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. We got a lot of very interesting things coming, so stay tuned.
All right, cool. Charles, any last thoughts?
I hope that The Last Guardian gets announced. That I need that. I need that in my life. I think we all do. I think we all deserve it. I think we've been patient enough. But other than that, be sure to check out Knights of the Turntable podcast, the hip hop podcast that I host, and the playlist, which is a music compilation that I drop every Monday.
Cool. Yeah, I just want to shout out to everyone who left a comment on the last co-op, the last episode of the co-op, because there were a lot of comments there, and shouts to Magnum. He left a huge brick wall of text in there, but I love that. I love the interaction and the engagement with the listeners of the show and everything. So keep those comments coming, people. We have been in there replying and responding to all of you. So yeah, definitely keep that up. And also shouts to everyone on the Throwdown podcast. Make sure you guys listen to that as well. The podcast pretty much drop on the same day, so we hope you guys all have a chance to listen to both of them. You don't have to listen to them both the same day if you don't have the time to, but definitely check out both shows, man, because there's a lot of different perspectives and everything. So yeah, shouts to those guys. And make sure you sign up to the newsletter and everything. We're giving away The Witcher 3 this month. The game isn't even out yet, and we're giving it away. It's PC only though, but we're giving out the game. It's not even out yet. But it's obviously it's a code that you have to redeem. We're not giving you early access to the game. But yeah, sign up for the newsletter, man. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Check out Knights of the Turntable as well. And yeah, that's it. Peace out.
Deuces.
Yeah.